And did we change the culture overnight? No, we didn't. It probably took us 6 months. But guys, the last 25 matches that I played in the early 90s, we won 22 of them. We became a hugely consistent team, and I really put it down to there's many factors. I talked about the jigsaw, I talked about the blood, sweat and tears and the goals and the strategy and the execution, but to me that was the number one thing that took us from an inconsistent team to a consistently good team that got to the top of the tree, winning the World Cup and then defending it for the next couple of years. And, you know, there's many aspects of process. You know, in your business, just think about what it is to deliver a good outcome in an individual sale or on a rental situation, all the sort of things, what it is to grow your business, what it is to grow it into a sustainable business, what it is to get a team of people around you that are all going in the right direction, that feel a part of what you're going after, that there's great spirit in it. I mean, there's many things that go into process. You know, as a young lawyer, the very first day in the legal office in 1985, I went into Mr. Holden's office, the senior partner in the Bligh Street mid-city law firm. I'll never forget, I had 10 minutes with him. I knocked on the door and I said, Mr. Holden, can I just have 5 or 10 minutes? I want to ask you a few questions. He'd known my grandfather, who was a partner at the firm, and so he got to know me a little bit. And I went in, my first question was, Mr. Holden, you know me a little bit, but you know, my first day in the office, what sort of lawyer do you think I should, or law should I do? Do you think I should litigation, property, commercial? What do you think? I'll never forget his answer. And guys, I've really lived off this in my working life. He said, Nick, don't worry about the sort of law. He said, work out what sort of person you are. He said, there's finders, minders, binders and grinders. And to me, guys, when I say I've lived off that, when I went to become a banker, you know, cracks in the ceiling getting wider at 3 a.m, what am I going to do? And I worked out that I had certain attributes that I could squeeze the lemon and get the drops out. And if I understood my weaknesses and my voids and surrounded myself with really good people, together as a team we could produce a great result. So when I came back and got into mining finance and ran a team of about 10 people, I surrounded myself with people that did stuff that I wasn't good at. I'm not a financial modeller. I don't really like sitting behind a computer. I don't like writing the 50-page credit applications that go off to Paris. I need people who can understand technical risks because that's one of the big risks that we have. So geologists and engineers and metallurgists. I surround myself with people who fill the void, but I knew I could do something and hopefully something pretty well if I really concentrated and focused on that. And that was often the finding and the minding, you know, the getting ourselves into the client's office, understanding the client's risks, understanding the solutions and the products that we provided, and then going about a process that could deliver that solution. And you know, to me, it really is critical in life. Work out what your strength is. Don't try and be everything to everyone, even though you might own the franchise. Surround yourself with people or the franchisors who provide the services and the tools that might enable you guys to have the scoreboard look after itself. You know.
There's a really great video on YouTube of Steve Jobs, and they ask him, it's just called Steve Jobs on Success. And they say, Steve, how do you become successful? He says, well, success is on the other side of all the hard stuff. And if you're not absolutely overwhelmingly passionate about what you do, you'll give up like everyone else does. Literally, the success goes to the guy that won't stop. We like the definition of wealth of the number of days you can live without requiring income from personal exertion. So it's that amount of money, obviously dropping out passive income that can give you the income that you require. Now, if you think about that, then really your wealth is defined mostly by your expectations. You know, if you want $10 million a year, you're going to have to hold a lot of assets. If you're happy to get by on $25,000 a year, you don't. And if you're happy on $12,000, you get in the pension when you're old enough, if you last that long. Right? So it's interesting as a definition, but that's the one we like. So we start here and we say that in your head are your ideas, and you can tell who somebody is by what they do. They're going to tell you all sorts of things, but I ain't listening. I can't hear, right? I come to that open house and I'm walking through the house. You think I'm looking at the bathrooms, I'm just interested in who the person is. I can tell, are there books or not? And if there are books, they look like they've ever been read. What sort of music's in the rack? Okay, a bit harder now with an iPhone, but there used to be CDs. You could tell. Oh, that's interesting. Is there art on the wall? And what is the art depict? Is it neat, tidy, clean? What's the story? All of that tells us, all of that physical environment actually tells us who this person is, which is very interesting. We just say your ideas will lead to actions. If you want to change the actions of the people in your organisation, or you want to change